2 seconds. That's it. We're in. We're in. We're in. We're in.
That's it. We're
Knock,
in.
knock, knock. We're not even door knocking. We're screen knocking. Look at that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing? Buenos días. Buenas noches. Buenas
Hi.
tardes. How's everybody doing? Good morning.
Morning.
Thank
Happy
God
Friday.
it's Friday, ladies and
Good
gentlemen.
morning. So it looks like we have a ersatz.
Yes.
That's what we say in French, like somebody else to replace Ed. Welcome.
You
It's
still wear glasses. Me and Ed.
Ah, there you go. less hair, but still
It's-
wears the glasses.
yeah. So guys,
That's
let's welcome Gary.
Hi guys. Happy Friday.
Good.
Happy
So
Friday,
Gary
Thank you. Appreciate it.
is
Oh,
Gary is actually a mortgage broker, right? An associate of ours and friends for a while now, and I think he's going to help us sort out a few things today, right?
Yeah.
So
But
I think what we did,
before
we
we even
named.
get there, Gigi, let's talk about our week. I mean, let's talk about our day. I mean, how do we do?
Oh man,
I mean,
our week, our day.
let's get people going.
What went on this week? The week went by too fast.
Really, right?
You know?
The summer. The
Yeah.
whole summer.
I know. I don't even know what happened. I can't remember
That's
what
true.
happened yesterday.
That's a fact. And my,
You know?
my excuse on that is that I actually, like on a Wednesday, I thought I was doing all my Thursday schedules for Wednesday. So I ended up in a different unit or house for a different
Yeah,
appointment. And I was like,
I'm
what
like-
the hell? What the hell? I'm in the wrong location today.
I feel you. I thought yesterday was Friday.
And
So I
right
did
now
feel
it's
that.
yeah.
So, but it was all
I know.
good. I mean, honestly, look, I've been
I
putting
know.
in. I recently put in a couple of offers. So some of them haven't been accepted, and I'm sure we'll talk about that more in that sense in our today's topic. But I put in a couple of offers. I've gotten buyers looking at things. Certainly got the sellers looking to either downsize, because I'm dealing with a lot. In this case, my last two are just more for the downsizing portion of it. My newest listing right now is more that they're moving down to I think Texas. So they're going down there and enjoying some of that barbecue out there, which is okay. I'm not ashamed. I'm not shy to say this. I like barbecue. Texas barbecue is really good to say that. But at the same time, that's what they're doing. So yeah, I'm actually enjoying this week so far. Although this week is a little bit weird
Good.
because of how it feels so ahead. But at the same time, I'm seeing a good positive move so far. So
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm seeing the agents. We've been busy with offers as well, receiving offers on either like houses or like of course I have a product that's super cheap. It's a studio which is like $130,000 in asking. So that's like an entry point that is very easy. So you get a lot of offers on that, much more so than the one bedroom, right? But I'm seeing activity. Less closings were scheduled this week, but a lot of activities.
yeah,
Yeah. And then somewhat,
definitely.
yeah, you're right. Probably a bit more seller inquiries, seller activity as far as them, like calling you and trying to figure out, if they should enter the market this next quarter. Or, yeah, I'm seeing that. It's true. It is
Like, should
true.
I
What
dive
about
into
you,
the
Gary?
ocean or not?
What you see on your end?
I see a lot of, listing agents actually doing the due diligence and calling us and calling me and just, they just want to make sure deals actually go through. They're like, are you sure? Because this is like, my last one didn't go through or this one didn't go through. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh boy.
Yeah.
So
I had one of our associates who actually was showing. We had a purchaser pre-qualified by a big name bank, the biggest one, right? And and of course he's being highly referred to us directly by the bank. And we meet this listing agent in Long Island, and he had a mortgage guy with him. And the mortgage guy looks over the buyer we had and figures out a few things that were dismissed by the qualification of that big bank, and was like, oh man, you're not ready. What is that gap of employment right here? This is going to be This you're not, no, not right now. We need to do something else. So it was like, wow. I was like, oh my God. So which shows you that yes, that
Yeah.
listing agent was super smart to have one of his, affiliates with him, somebody who can really like go back into credentials and pre-qualifications of the buyer, and actually they're working on getting that offer accepted, which is
Nice,
good.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
It's good. So it
I
builds
think
trust
look,
with the client, build trust with
mhm.
the buyer's agent. It's great. Build trust. The seller definitely trusts you. I think that's very smart.
Yeah. I
Very,
even
very, very
I've been
smart.
going to listing appointments with listing agents. So it was like if you come with your
Yeah,
banker, be like, hey, you know what, we're gonna make sure this deal gets through because even sellers know that
yeah,
everything's not getting through now.
I mean, it's
yeah,
what my
yeah.
coach used to say. It's like, your sellers are your buyers anyways.
Yeah.
Sellers are buyers at the end of the day,
Mhm.
right? But honestly, it's
Yeah,
like it's one of those where we get to that point right now and we hear the one thing, one little quote. Hold up. Is it time to move yet or not? Right? And good thing Gigi was just about to introduce Gary into this about what we're going to talk about today. I mean, Gigi, go ahead. You started off. I cut you off, and I apologize on that. But please, I mean, Gary's a we see
what
ourselves
is
in the
it?
sense
No, no.
of
I just wanted Gary to introduce himself. He's a
right.
longtime friend of ours.
So go ahead. Yes, please, Gary.
What?
No,
No, go
like I said,
ahead.
I think
Go
I
ahead.
enjoy you guys. I've
Gary,
been
Gary.
watching you guys for a couple of years, and hopefully we could drop some golden eggs, golden chickens, or something. You guys were
You were close. You were close on that one. I'm
Golden
sorry,
chicken
man.
nuggets.
Just
gold.
because I got to bring it out now.
What was it?
It's the
Yeah,
golden chicken nugget, man.
yeah,
It's
golden chicken. I was like, these guys. So, but I just wanted to take the time to employ you guys and thank you guys for coming on every week because, like I said, consistency in our business is very few in between, and thank you guys for doing it every Friday. I appreciate it.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Awesome.
actually,
So
we're not doing it for us. We're doing it so we can move the needle forward in this business. Still encountering so many agents that absolutely get zero guidance. For some reason, I'm like screaming, mentors, where are you? Like, if you have a little bit of
Yeah,
experience in the business, like, grab an agent under your wing. Like, make sure they're set up properly. Make sure they have the right scripts. Make sure they address the consumer in
yeah,
the right way. I mean, this is what all the time plaguing our industry, and
yeah,
sometimes it's beyond just those big training classes in large group. I think
yeah.
like you need to have one-on-one coaching with a
Yeah,
mentor. That's very, very important, because not everybody,
I
just
think
like
so.
in the school system, not everybody learns the same way.
Yeah, yeah. You definitely need to shadow somebody. So many people,
That's what I
when we
think. So
started,
we give our two
everybody
cents.
used to
We're
be like
open
this, right?
heads.
Nobody's like this no more. Everybody's like, let me see what you got. Let me,
Yeah,
let's share. So I think that's it. But back to the
yeah,
market. I
yeah.
think
Anyway,
it's it's the market, right? The market that we're getting in, and everybody's about rates and craziness. But I just think it's stop watching
right.
the news. Number one, right?
stop watching the news.
Stop watching the news.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
thing
yeah.
that's going to
I
change your
was in an
mindset.
Uber yesterday with a young guy. I was in an Uber yesterday with a young guy considering taking his real estate license. And he was like, "Do you think
Nice.
it's a good time starting real estate when the rates are so high?" I'm like, "Hell yeah." This is probably the best time for you, because when things are easy, this is going to be an easy
Yeah,
ride. So you're going to go through the tough time from the beginning. You'll know
yeah,
what to do. Because imagine people that got their license during COVID or right after COVID. They didn't
yeah.
even need to know anything about sales. There was no
You don't learn
sales skills
anything.
there. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, I got a license. Come on over. I'll just go with you. They were just
yeah.
like tour guides. It's not even that.
Uh,
It's like door
You don't learn
openers.
anything when it's too
And
easy. You
I'm
don't learn
sorry to
anything.
say that, huh?
Yeah, you don't learn anything when it's too easy.
That's what it was. You got so many. Everybody was making an offer on everything. It was so easy. Now that it's tougher, you need skills. So yes, enter this industry when you new, really, all those skills are needed. I think this is a great advantage of this type
Yeah.
of markets when you're brand new.
Yeah.
Anyway, before further ado, the rest of the year, how does it look like?
Curious, huh?
Should
curious
we
cat.
should we get worried? Should we again not listen to the news?
Yeah, I think like we were speaking before. I think it's mostly your numbers, right? Know your monthlies, and if your monthlies are good, regardless of the rate, buy that house, right? There's always time to get a buy down. Everybody was scared of adjustable rates, but if we could weather the storm and get that adjustable and refi later, so be it. As Israel mentioned off the camera, the sellers or they don't want to move because they don't want to lose their rate, right? Nobody wants to lose that 3-4%. It's like holding on too tight.
Right.
Right.
A little bit. I just want to put into perspective what some of the experts are saying. This is what to expect for the end of the year, and it's not all doom and gloom. And between you and I, guys, I don't agree with. I'm not going to necessarily agree with some of those numbers that we're going to see, and we'll figure out why. Let's bring up those slides right here. There you go. So this is basically the home prices. That's going to be in general for the whole nation. Let's understand that each region has different algorithm when it comes to price trend. All right. So the good news is it looks like overall there is a little bit of an appreciation trend going up in many markets. And some are expecting either that, like no growth, a little bit of growth. Fannie Mae being super optimistic, looking at 4.3, almost 4% growth. And Realtor.com still seeing a negative growth, and prices are still continue to soften up. What do you guys think about that until the end of the year?
Yeah, I think a lot of times I don't think too much will move too much. I think the NBA is more aligned to what's going to happen.
I believe so. Yeah.
And I think anything that does move, you really moves in that election year, that big election year. Usually when things fluctuate, usually
I know.
Right?
I know.
Magically happens, right?
What do you think, Israel? What's your take on this one?
I mean, I agree. I think everything is cyclical in this sense. I just don't understand how Fannie Mae need the 4% while everybody else is at a lower percentage. Maybe they have the secret sauce that we're not looking at right now. But at the same rate, everything again in sort of either the 5 or 7 year cyclical version of it. I think that what we see there with the NER, MBAs, I think that's pretty much accurate. I mean, it's to what I'm actually dealing with as far as buyers and sellers right now. So, and then, again, they're saying the appreciation is going to increase and so on and so forth. Homes needs to move for it to increase.
What about in our local market of NYC suburbia? What about prices in Long Island? What about prices in Westchester? And right around New York, even if it's a different state like Jersey. Do you see price? Because I don't know if prices went up a great deal. Do you see a great increase in price, or you see that there is still demand, but increase is slowing down?
So in our local area, we do still have little pocket areas that are still getting the over askings, like just pretty much either 50 or 30, over asking prices. But again, it depends on the product, which means that it's either the single or multifamily homes versus your co-ops and condos. Not all of those are moving as fast. So to me, when I look at it that way, I don't think those numbers are moving fast. However, I do see condos and co-ops dropping down. It's like it's weird for me to even say that. So you have single families and multifamilies moving up while the co-ops and condos are going down. not too many people are moving into those.
Mhm.
But it's still
Yeah.
relative because I think the price are going down, but are they falling down past the prices we had pre-COVID, or is it readjusting itself?
I personally think it's readjusting itself. I think
When,
it's not really
yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, yeah,
because you have to.
yeah.
We all
You know,
understand that once COVID hit that 2.5, 3%, 3.5%, after having five and a
yeah,
half for 2 years, 3 years prior to that, it became to a point of what? It's like a buy one get
Yeah.
one situation. All of a sudden, everybody wanted to get
yeah,
involved and
yeah,
get it. But at the
yeah,
same time, what happened with COVID is the whole news of the fact of 6 feet away, don't be close to each other, don't, and everybody wanted that space all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So when you're
yeah,
buying that house with the extra land, again, these are areas that we used to prior to COVID. Folks didn't want to go out there because the taxes were so high and double the taxes what you have in the city, so on and so forth. Now they didn't care. Now they want to go out there.
Yeah.
Now they want to
right,
be next to a great piece of land with lots of taxes and pay over asking for it. So it's really what
right.
it is. It's really
And
situation.
your tax dollar is going for better schools anyway, so
Yeah,
why not, right?
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, but since this is a national thing, I mean, one thing I'm noticing, and I do look at homes outside of New York, is there are homes that I've seen last year have increased in prices this year. So that's and I've been looking at homes since last year or a year and a half before that. So when I see these same type of homes, they've increased in prices, but here in New York they haven't as much. I don't know if you guys have seen
yeah,
that too.
Yeah, I see that in
yeah.
Jersey as
No, you're
well.
right.
I see that in Jersey market, and there's two markets, right? There's the market that yeah, they increased slightly, but then there's those markets that have density, right? Like the Corona,
Mm-hmm.
that no matter what it will be higher in price just because the density of people that want to stay in that area,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
it's two
Let
trends.
me make sure I'm plugged in. I just want to make sure I don't lose you
Plug her
guys.
in,
I'm the one
people. Plug her in. Let her be plugged
And then
in.
the big
Hey,
news is
listen,
always the
before
mortgage rate. Oh yes, go
we're so
ahead.
we're blessing everybody with a lot of information. I mean, listen, as we're chiming in, feel free to comment. Let us know what you think about the market. Let us know what you're seeing, what you're feeling, what you're smelling out there. Use all your five senses to let us know what's going on out there. Because honestly,
Yeah.
these are just three wonderful minds who are speaking about it. But I would love to know what everybody else is thinking about out there as we're talking. So, guys, Gigi, what's the next one? Ooh,
The
mortgage rates.
next
That's not my
one is
favorite.
actually the boogeyman, the mortgage rate. So all those experts, and not all. I think Lawrence Yun from NAR, chief economist at NAR, is having he's having comments on the mortgage rates projections. Anyway, everybody across the board thinks that the rates will ease off depending on the inflation. I think as far as inflation is concerned, we're not doing too bad. It's not like the doom and gloom of whatever news media is telling us. And they're thinking that by the end of the year, the rates will cool down and open up the market for the beginning of next year.
I agree.
I don't know. I think it's going to happen later. I think
Really?
nothing will really move until we're close to election time.
Yeah, yeah. That's when you really see it happen, right? I
Yeah,
don't, and like we were saying before, the fives are what we were pre-COVID, right? So
yeah.
um, it's relative.
We're still going to be in the very high. I think we'll be in the very high six. Even if we go like at 6, like we'll be a little bit on the 7. We'll go back. Like a little dental type of graph. They'll put some spikes up over 7. I don't, for some reason, I'm like nothing is going to move until the end of the third quarter next year, and right
Yeah,
before around election time when everybody's going to get ready for that.
Yeah, and I think
I
everybody's just save money and buy down points, right? Buy down as many points as you
yes.
can. You know, it's like, listen, if you're at
And we're
6,
gonna talk about all the, it's what's the trend and where I think buyers will be. I think we have one more slide after that. Yeah, the home sale prices, which is the home sale, the amount of sale. I think it's all across the board. Everybody's forecasting that's still going to be tight as far as the number of homes that are being sold. The good news, if you're outside of New York City, the new constructions are doing extremely well because now they have the supply and
yeah,
now they are able to give some incentives to the buyer, just have like more creative financing, which you're going to talk about, Gary, which is not only afforded by new construction home buyers. I think like if you're a regular home buyer and you have the right mortgage professional, you can actually dive into creative financing with a better understanding than just going. It's not only FHA, it's not only whatever,
no,
like those prime products. It's first of all, I want to mention this is not 2007, 2008. Those products are highly regulated. You
yeah,
won't have any negative amortization, you have none of that, so those are like very, very safe products to buy into. I really want
yeah.
to put that out there.
Yeah, 100%. I think
Yeah.
usually was scared after 2008 about adjustable rates and buy downs, and the margins of difference from getting a non-conventional, they call non-qualified mortgage and a qualified conventional. It's not that far. So if you could get something and maybe get it in like what Israel and I were doing DSCR and in your LLC. Yes, you're maybe paying a higher rate, but it's not in your name; it's in your business name, right? So your,
Right.
your
Yeah.
UTIs
If you
are
can
great.
do that. Yeah. If you
Yeah,
can do
there's
that.
options, right? If you could do,
Because sometimes,
so there's
like,
so many different options out there. I just don't limit yourself just to one FHA or conventional. Look at, talk to your professional, whoever it is. And if they're not giving you options, or like, everybody's so different that if they're not giving you different options, then
right.
talk to somebody else. So,
I think so. I mean, honestly, look, even if you bought it at this market
Right.
right now,
Uh,
the difference between buying it now to still renting, think of it in the sense that in that 1 year, you're already paying into your equity,
yeah.
right? Well, although it may not be as much because the
Yeah.
first 2 years is obviously not that much, but if you think about it, it's you're paying it off because once election or any other drip or dip will have in the interest rates, you can start refining,
Hmm.
right? You could refi real quick, get yourself
yeah.
a little extra money into your equity, and then, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, in today's market, or at least in today's years of buyers, they tend to stay there within 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
The older generations tend to stay there up to 10 years or 20 years. So again,
Longer.
it's just right. If you buy within your means, buy within the price range that you're comfortable with, and you're paying for your equity, then at the end of the day, within 2 years, you're actually doing a quick refi. Now you're getting more equity into you. Call me. I'll be ready to set you up with another investment. I'm
Yeah.
kidding when I say that. But the
Right.
point
So
is
are
that
you
this is what you want to
advocating?
do.
Are you advocating for
Right.
temporary buy downs, or do you think that a permanent buy down, say here, I'm gonna pay 3 points and I'm gonna put my rate close to 1% lower, like for the 30 years, or you're gonna do
That works
a
too.
2-1 buy down, or whatever you
Well,
wanna,
I look
do
at
you
both. I look at both
what
to
as a
see.
mortgage guy? Yeah,
Uh, I look at both to see which if I do the permanent buy down, how long does it take for me to get that money to be even out, right? When's the
Mm.
return on investments? How many months, how many years is it worth it? Am I have to wait 8 years to get to see the difference of the 5,000 I put in to buy it down for a permanent, or should I do a temporary buy down? Maybe it's cheaper, and then it could even itself out until I refinance to another permanent. So it's I love the game of it, of like, all right, which one should we do? It's like a puzzle. And depending on, the one thing I say to my clients, the one thing you try to control is your credit. So make that the
Mhm.
best you can so you have more options. When you have bad credit, your credit's lower, then your options, you're costing more to get that same buy down, right?
Right.
So pay down your debt that you already have to get a better pricing on your buy downs, whether it be short term or long term buy down, right? So
Yeah, and
that's
then yeah, and and I realized yesterday having a credit repair class by a very knowledgeable professional, we don't have the right education when it comes to
yeah,
as
yeah,
consumer, even us as real estate
yeah.
agent, we
As
don't have enough
agents,
education when it
mhm,
comes to the how credit works,
yeah, mhm,
and things and the practices within that credit
yeah,
those credit bureaus and understand.
yeah,
So if we can get educated so we can help our consumers as much as we can is really the route we have to go to. Like
yeah,
you have to be an educator right now, because it's not like let's wait until the rates go down. No, there are many ways you
yeah,
can work that. Like you
yeah,
can do rate buy downs. You can also involve the sellers, just like those
mhm,
builders are doing, where they're going to incentivize with buying down rates. You can involve that
yeah,
seller. It's not
yeah,
gonna. It's still, that sales price should include a little bit of incentive. Why not?
yeah. It all
Right?
comes down to having the right team, right? Because going in to negotiating the right price, not going over asking, because that appraisal has to go, into play when you get
Mhm.
that seller to
Right.
actually buy down those points, right? So it's
Yes.
the
Yes.
whole
Yeah.
ecosystem that
Yeah.
leans on each other. And to back to what Israel's saying, yes, buy now so you can refi
Yeah.
later. Because if while you're refining, everybody else will be buying, right? So do you want to compete with everybody's coming out? It's like Black Friday. The rates go down. You want everybody to be rushing
Yeah.
in to
Oh
buy
my God,
something,
it's terrible.
or do you want to already have your house and like have like what should I do while everybody's running around to find a house? You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
I
and
don't
then
buy Black Friday. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is,
Yeah, I don't even do online
yeah.
stuff like that. So,
We,
yeah,
but
we,
go ahead.
we
Go ahead,
brushed,
Gigi.
we brushed a little bit on the adjustable rates, and
Yeah.
my understanding as a layman consumer, I was like,
mhm,
does it make sense to go into adjustable rates right now? Because the difference in rates between adjustable and 30-year fixed mortgage, because of the
yeah,
short-term loans, is not as that spread,
big,
that difference like you used to have in adjustable, like a 2% lower rate, like when you had the adjustable before you adjusted, versus now
Hmm.
it's almost the same. So does it even make sense to go in an adjustable type of situation?
The buy one
yeah,
on
You
the ones.
mentioned like some investors
yeah, yeah.
it would be good.
Yeah, it's really if you're on the
Do you
investing
want to
side
brush
or
back on that since we were talking about it?
yeah, investors a lot of times, we're looking
So
at
how would that benefit
getting
them on the adjustable?
getting a 5 year. You got to look at those prepays, right? Look at the fine lines on how much is the prepay penalties and stuff like that. So because when you refi, you're basically
Yeah.
prepaying your loan. So yes, everything may look sweet on a monthly basis, but look at maybe take a 2 year, not a 5 year, right, and stuff like that. So
So you think,
you're not
okay, so
locked
those
in.
five-year products have prepayment penalties?
Yeah. So it's a 30-year loan, but it's a 5 year.
Most of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them do, right? Because that's how they're making their money to get you
Okay.
for those 5 years. And they know, like you
Yeah.
said, everybody looks at what is it now, but in 2 years, we'll have a bit different rate, right? So I would suggest maybe not get
So
locked into the five.
So, I mean, for the sake of, I know us three, and I'm sure there's a lot of seasoned people that watch this. Let's fully, just quickly. I mean, to a 1 minute thing. What is an adjustable rate compared to a conventional rate, and therefore we can actually.
Yeah. So the adjustable,
Yeah.
it
No, you're
definitely
right.
changes with the index. It may change over a period of time, maybe 1 year, 2 year, or even 5-year your rate, but it caps at a certain number, so it can't go too high. But also, and of course, a fixed conventional is for
When
the
you say
30
certain number, you mean the interest. You mean
interest
the
rates.
interest. That's what you
Mm-hmm.
mean by number. Yeah.
The interest rate
Yeah,
will
this
be.
is why people are afraid, because they're afraid it's going to go off the chain. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
of course, there's a cap at it, a
So,
yield cap. So you're not going to get from 5 to 10, right?
Right.
A lot of people are scared of that, It's so more regulated now than '08, that was.
right. So you cap all those. Right. So, right. So all those adjustable rates are regulated 2 to 5, and they are capped. Let's say if the interests go up to 8, and you have a cap at 6.5 on your adjustable, your rate is never going to go at 8, right? It's going to cap at 6.5.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That's all
that's why
I wanted to make sure the consumer
when you get into
understand.
it, read that fine print. Is like make sure what's the cap on it, what's the most it could go, what's the prepay penalties. So do your due diligence. That's the key, right?
So as investors, I mean, when you look at it that way, and just to piggyback on that, just for 2 seconds, is that as investors, they generally look at houses that are either, when I mean short term, it's not the short terms of just a year or so. You also look at it in the 5-year premise of what they're going to do with that house. Because obviously everything's cyclical versus, in the sense of, is the price good enough for me to sell or continue this process for another few years? So if they do a 501 arm or 7-1 arm, in that case, sometimes it would be 2, but in most cases, 5. Once that 5-year hits, it's like, okay, what am I doing with this product? What am I doing with this home? Am I actually selling it, or am I just going to keep it for another few more years and then deal with this new interest rate that I have to deal with for now in the next couple of years?
Yeah,
and it's really depending on the market that you're in versus the sense of the value of how much appreciation your home has went up to. So they'll look at that right away. How much cash on cash you're getting on that as well. How much money you received or you're going to receive in the next couple of years as well, and they'll look at that as well. So that's why it's important for the investor version of it. Now, it's not only the investors; it's also those who are, because I deal with doctors and other high-paying folks, if you want to call it that, like the lawyers and so on and so forth. They use the 5-1 arm as well, so they could take advantage of trying to get something right away before using 30 years or the 15-year programs that are out there or loans that are out there. So it's actually, that's why, as far as investors, I mean, again, they have hard money, they have private monies, but the 5-1R, 7-1R deals or, focus on that for those who want to use it those are the reasons.
I think
what about, let's talk about with the regular folks that are buying, like mid-range homes and stuff like that with, like 2 incomes in like husband, wife or partners. And there is also in the creative financing, there is nothing, it's not a bad word, it's not a curse word, creating financing. It's like ways to ease off into entering into the buying market, right? Do you recommend trying to find all those down payment assistance, like closing cost assistance program? Because it looks like the city and the states, especially in New York, are giving away a lot of things.
Yeah, they
and I'm not saying we have to go into the low income. You don't have to go into the do you work with those things? I mean, what would you recommend to a buyer?
So there's different programs, different grant programs, depending on where you live in the boroughs or even in Jersey, there's different programs. It's just a caveat, right? It's like sometimes you can't make too much or you can't make too little, right? Because if you make too much, then you could afford to do something.
Right. Like and sometimes it's just based on where you live.
Yeah. Just geographic. So, there's stuff that's in the 5 boroughs that's not on Long Island, right?
Right.
So you really got to take a look and see, like, all right, where do I qualify? Can I get any grants that could help me with the down payment, which is usually about $15,000, depending on the grant, and like I said, any dollar counts, right? Especially
of course. So what's the catch with those grants? What's So the
Yeah,
grant, it means to me with my bad English, they're giving it to you, right?
yeah,
So what's
yeah.
the catch?
You go to a 1 day class, but then again, like I said, if you make too much, you may not qualify. It's like having those. You see those car commercials with the 0.009. Like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a great rate. You go in and it's like, oh, but you don't.
Yeah,
No, not for you. So it's such a fine line. Like, oh, if you made so much, then and you're depending on how
right,
many people's in your household and stuff like that.
Right. Right.
So all those things are caveats. So everybody's like, well, do I qualify? Like, yeah, let's take a look at your tax returns, because what you claim in your tax returns is what they're going to look at as well. How many people's in your household, how much income,
right.
W-2s.
And
You know?
you do have, I know you have to live in the house for a certain amount of time. You're not going to
Hmm.
be an investor. You have to be an end user. So
Yeah.
whether
Hmm.
they have, and I know in New York, I mean, even with the income limit, it's still pretty high. I mean, if you look at it, if you're gonna, like, sometimes they have those grants in geographical areas, and like, let's say you live in Forest Hills and you're gonna go, or in Queens, you're like, oh my God, Forest Hills, the income brackets are so high in there that we're never going to qualify. And then you find out that North Forest Hills falls into those geographical
Yeah.
census track products. So it's like, okay, I mean, I think you need to really dig and be open-minded, and as a buyer you have to ask as many questions as possible. I don't Unfortunately, the big guys, the big banks are not equipped. They're more cookie cutter, right? They're not equipped to
Yeah.
offer
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot
Absolutely.
of a
No,
lot
you're
of
right.
products for people with
Yeah.
different scenarios. Same thing.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
You're right.
It's
Got it.
it's really more, like I said, the bigger banks. There's nothing wrong with it. They do multiple products, like checking account and savings accounts, right? They don't, they're okay with letting somebody go that may be on the edge of qualifying, right? Because they don't get
Hmm.
paid per loan or something. They get paid per hour, right?
Hmm.
So their incentives are different. It's not like, hey, let me get this loan in. Let me make sure that this person gets the right. We work on referrals. We're a referral based business, right? That's how we make our living, right? So it's such a
Right.
different product, and they're only selling one or two things. It's like going to a store and only having two items on the shelf, right?
Right.
I would
Mhm.
like, all right, this is not the store for me. Yes, I need a pants and a shirt, but I need to choose between multiple pants and shirts, right? So I think that's really the key of it, of having options,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the possibilities to have like other things. They're not telling you about anything else
Yeah.
because they don't have anything else to sell, right?
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. That's what they got.
No, it's not. It's not their fault at
Right.
all. I mean,
Right. 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 Because I think out there, like you hear so many times, they're just the mainstream for me, and I don't work with buyers a lot, but I see them coming across my desk, and reviewing stuff, and I'm like, it seems to be so easy to just be placed into an FHA mortgage when you could be doing some other stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so just my advice is, as real estate agents, we need to, again, like, educate our consumer, align with the right professionals, whether it's mortgage, but sometimes it's beyond mortgage. You're going to have to go back and do a little bit of credit repair. You're going to have
Yeah.
to go back and see if there are some grants that are available for these clients. You want
Yeah.
to have the right house inspector once you secure the house. You want to make sure
Yeah.
that it's just not, an inspector scaring you and say, oh my God, this house is falling apart.
Right.
Obviously, if you have a lower price house, it's not falling apart. It's yes, we know it's
Yeah.
older, hence the price. So
Yeah.
it's not like just all doom and gloom. It's like, let's find some solution. Is this salvageable? Are those, like, can we do anything with the type of product we have? Can we do anything with the loan we're getting? Can we I would want to make sure, like, for me, and because in my experience, um the the loan officer I use for my mortgage, this guy never called me back, never heard from
Mhm.
anyone. And I'm like,
That's crazy.
This is like, I would
That's
have
crazy.
wanted somebody who stuck around with me. We like to stick
Yeah,
around with our
yeah,
consumer
of
as a real
course.
estate agent, and I
Yeah, yeah,
think
yeah.
the
Absolutely.
mortgage professional
Absolutely.
should do the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
No,
Yeah.
I
And
So
for me, it's like I believe in any of the vendors I work with when it comes to mortgage lenders, inspectors, credit repairs, anyone will treat my customers the way
yeah,
I treat my customers, and our clients.
yeah,
It's really if they're sort of skewed off or they don't call me back or give me some kind of report, I don't want to work with them. It's like it's hard. You're not that means you're not doing the work that I would do normally.
yeah,
So
right.
I find that very important.
So buyers
But
out there, just don't go in Zillow and take a look at stuff and say, "Here, I want to see that." Speak to your professional, speak to your real estate professional, have a consultation. At the same time,
yes,
have a consultation with the mortgage professional. Those are free. And I think, like, people are saying, "I just want to see the property." I think it's a huge mistake. Like,
yeah,
basically be more um intentional, like have a plan of action. I think you'll be
yeah,
better off than just jumping, looking on those websites and saying, "Oh, I want to see the house, I want to see the house." And it's
yeah,
it's beyond that. It's like, how can you position yourself?
yeah. It's that whole ecosystem that
Like,
we're
what's
talking about.
what's your plan? Yeah,
Yeah, that whole ecosystem of your agent to your mortgage, everybody has to be in line and working to get you
exactly.
to that place and having the know how to get you
right.
there. Saving as much money as you can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, same thing, because
it's
I
actually very
don't
important.
believe by the end of the year things are going to change much. We're going to be in the same
Yeah.
we're going to be in the same economical situation. I could be totally wrong. And I'll
So
admit it.
okay,
But
so
I don't
and I
think
think
much is going to change. Yeah,
this is a perfect opportunity. So if the wheel is not going to change, if the insanity is not going to give us a different result, right?
Hmm.
Then what can we do different, right, to make sure we get a better result? Because obviously, we're always going to get the clients who are just going to say the interest rates are too high, right? We're going to get the ones that are, the ones that are always looking for a certain type of purchase. What can an agent do to actually improve themselves? How can they align themselves with a mortgage person to make sure that they're always having a pre-approval in front of their seller, I mean their buyers. What kind of information can the seller have in front of them to say, you know what, yes, 3%. Let me not say that, but anyways, yes, that's a good interest rate. How can I move out? Why should I move out? Kind of thing.
right.
Like these are things that I think that we should hey, a few minutes right now in that sense of what can we do to make sure that this wheel, the spinning wheel,
Hmm.
just turns a little bit so that anybody who's listening to us can be like, look, I wanna move forward too. That's a great idea. What do you think, Gigi? Hello?
But to me, I really believe us as agents, and I've been doing this for, like, it's going to be 28 years in a couple of months. I've been
Oof.
doing this.
Oof.
I
Mm.
strongly believe in education. I
Absolutely.
strongly believe in educating myself all the time,
Yeah.
because even though it looks like it's the same thing, sales skills haven't changed and all, but there is always different nuances and things that I didn't know. And if I don't know, I want to have a team of professionals that are next to me that can actually also educate the consumer. I would like the consumer to also be open to educating themselves. It's not, like, yes, we
Absolutely.
have a lot of availability of stuff online. Great. That's just like for browsing. To me, it's just for browsing. But when it's time to really get down to it, that's what I'm saying. Like, have a little bit of premeditate. No, like, what is it? Like a plan. Like, work out. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is my situation. Let's fully understand your financial health, your financial situation. What are the options? What can you do? Will someone be there to guide you, and how they will
Right.
guide you? I
That's
think
right. There's that
that's
golden
the
nugget.
type of situation you want to be in. There
Yeah.
goes the
There you
golden
go.
nugget.
That's the
This is
golden nugget
where,
right
and
there.
this is where, like, all those intricate parts of creative financing, the right team, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So as agent, it would be so beneficial to align with the right team, the right
Yeah.
professionals that,
Absolutely.
yes, you can securely you can securely basically refer to your client. And those are not people that are going to give you money. Those are people that want to do right by the people. I think education is going to be of the client is going to be, that's going to be the word. That's going to be the word in the street. It's not Zillow. It's not Realtor.com. It's not, the snippets on TikTok and stuff like that. It's really like taking time to understand what your situation is.
Yeah. I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think,
What
Gary?
about you, Gary? You like me, like
Yeah. 20 years, 22. But
boy. So I'm a young buck. I love
We've
it.
been doing it. What else would you? Well, we're gonna wrap it up because you went a little bit over.
Yes,
what else would you add, Israel, as far as that?
I think agents. Well, I think agents should do. It's not just yes, educate yourself, but I know when we started, you just pass the baton to your loan officer. Do a consultation together, right? Know what the heck is going on. Have a team aspect on it if you can, whether it be a group call or with the client, and really getting more involved with knowing about the financing so you know how to really present offers better rather than just keeping it separate. I know we're like, oh, I don't want to get into it. And yes, but you want to know about it, right? You want to educate yourself on if they could even afford this, if they can't do it or they don't want to do it. There's too big a difference, right?
There you go.
So as agents, you should be educated in what the price.
Yes.
So I'll wrap it up this way in that sense, and I'll say it this way. I'm a hungry man. So I like the 30 days of coffee, and not only staying in class, actually get the education that people need to do to actually put themselves in front of buyers and sellers and have the right information. I like to actually have lunch and coffees with other vendors out there so I can hear what they're doing.
Take Israel first steak. Take Israel first steak. Medium rare.
That's it. Hey, I'm a steak man. I'll do it all day. But the point is that it's actually you're out there, you're listening to what's going on in their industry, what they're doing, what education you can go through, and how you can help their business, you can help your business, and hopefully get a good team out of that situation too. So before we go, Gary, I have you as Gary Etienne, Quintessential Mortgage. Let us know exactly what other ways they can reach out to you. Gary, thank you so much for being with us. So
anytime, guys. Anytime. Instagram at One Life Changer. You should see it across on the bottom there. But definitely DM me, reach out to me. And like everyone knows, if you can't reach me, my wife's in the industry as well. Reach out to her, and she always knows where I am. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
That's the team. Yes, there you go. That's the team we're talking about. Thank you so much. We'd like to see you more often, Gary. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
And I appreciate you guys.
We missed Ed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
With the head sweater, the glasses.
It's right as always.
It's awesome. Well, Ed, we look forward to seeing you next time. Gary, thank you so much. You're more than welcome. Doors open for you. If you want to come back.
Don't forget those open houses.
Don't forget the open houses. I'm doing several of them this Sunday.
Okay.
I might do one on Saturday just for the sake of it. But hey, stay dry, stay warm, and stay fun. I'll talk to everyone later. I hope everyone has a great one. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Stay happy.
Oh yeah, stay happy too.
I'm gonna do the.
Bye.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, don't do that.
Thank you so much.
Ed killed me last time. I couldn't do it anymore.